Some said you were even competing with the president. There's a famous case on May 22nd, 2026, when the president, in the northern region, where Haruna Iddrisu said, quote, "I recall when the president came for this thank you tour, not the other thank you tour, a proper thank you tour of President Mahama as presidential flag bearer. What cannot be said, we can say it. A proper thank you tour, not the curtain raiser thank you tour." Many thought he was referring to you.
I have a problem with the way the debate about third term or not a third term is going.
Okay.
Because you don't focus on one individual in making a law. If MPP had fielded President Kuffour against Atta Mills, the chances were that Kuffour would have won and remained.
Okay, so finally, Asiedu Nketia, I responded to a video here, I think by 4 or 5 months ago, a buyer during the thank you tour. Yeah, now Haruna Iddrisu, a making statement to be said. I require when President John Dramani Mahama came here for thank you tour. I mean the proper thank you tour, not the other thank you tour.
I recall when President came for his thank you tour, not the other thank you tour. The proper thank you tour of President Mahama. Proper thank you tour of President Mahama. What cannot be said, Mr. President, we can say it. The proper thank you of President Mahama, not the curtain raiser one.
In fact, this particular video generated a lot of comments. Me say, and some of video we did buy, And finally, Asiedu Nketia, I responded to Sam Komono. And or responded no. Was it that well responded or not? Who are responding just like that? We're going to know how is Smart Africa Media. Thank you very much. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Mr. Rosa will click on the bell notification bell. The notification bell. Sorry, so there be a video be a tomorrow. Also know you get to watch. Now let's have a conversation. It is very interesting. Asiedu Nketia akudin komo the national chairman at the National Democratic Congress. Wakudin komo. Na the conversation no and komo mienu bi and I may much interested. One, the response here, what responded to Haruna Iddrisu concerning the thank you to another year. And in fact, when him says Sam komo no okodi sa thank you to no no okoka say me and me catch me ma almost sa Haruna Iddrisu and the muntaka from the opposition at the different batch. At the bar, or different faces, and in fact, that comment no could make and no generated to Sir Haruna Iddrisu response no. Na and they wakwa kuyano, wakwa kuchim, the entia wakasa, or responded to the entia Haruna Iddrisu ekaya when we feel at that time. Na we yano, but what before that no, yentia sa responding come on mra Mahama tetem no edi asembeba wu asembeba papa no akotena akodi nkomo o say o feel offended anytime obeti say encrophobia can John Dramani Mahama tetem. But before that no, let's watch this video of Asiedu Nketia responding to Haruna Iddrisu any month
of the statement that was recently released by the NDC Council of Elders, and something they said, quote, "The council notes with concern the growing unease among sections of the party and the wider public regarding reports of premature presidential campaigns and related political activities by individuals and groups within the party." And they go on to talk about focusing on delivery.
Yes.
And why this is distracting from that objective. Isn't that what they were pointing at? That people are already taking their eyes off the big ball.
If they had kept quiet about that, that is what will work into complacency. But I'm happy that you yourself, you are admitting that when they saw some development like that, they spoke about it and then sought to correct what they thought was beginning, and so we are on course.
Do you share their concern? That quote council they noting the concern growing unease among party, wider public regarding premature presidential campaigns, related political activity?
There were rumors about certain ministers having problem with their colleague ministers and so on. I thought that was what, in fact, some of them was almost nearly played in the public domains.
One in particular one that played out was the finance minister versus the great minister.
That was why
back and forth exchanges. And people suggested that it was because of ambition.
That was why the responsible Council of Elders had to step in, and so you haven't heard about those things again.
So you think this killed it?
Sure.
I mean, in fact, there are those who also said, one of the people they were also pointing out was you, that because you were doing Thank You Tour as a ruse to put up your presidential campaign.
Those who said that thing were either ignorant about how a party is run, or they were simply being mischievous. If I was campaigning, at the end of every campaign, what happens? Elections. Since I finished 3 months ago, have they brought the ballot paper for us to cast the votes? It is work that ought to be done, and I'll continue doing it. In fact, my duty as a party chairman, who is not directly running a ministry, is to make sure that I govern the party and rein party members in to support the government to perform. So anywhere I feel there is a need to reach out to party members and then deliver the right messages, I'll not be listening to those who are making that noise at all. I'll do my work, because if that work never gets done, I am the first to be blamed. If work in any ministry is not done well, it is the minister you hold responsible. So if I sit there as national chairman and I hear that party people are disgruntled about ABC appointments, recruitment slots and the other things, and people were even trying to organize demonstrations against our own government, I sit there to fold my hands. I'll be a stupid chairman. So I thought that I should go down there and quench the fires. And so far I'm happy that once I went around, all the fires were quenched.
So you're saying categorically on the show that your Thank You Tour was not to campaign and to project Asiedu Nketia as a likely presidential candidate for 2028?
If I want to project myself, it will not be through a Thank You Tour. Because did you hear me saying anything about myself? Everything I said was streamed live. Did you hear me making a sentence about myself and what I intended to do? No. So those who are worried may think that, oh, the more he goes around, the more people see and know him. But ask yourself, who in this party is better known than Asiedu Nketia? So what is the need to go and show yourself for people to see that you are Asiedu Nketia? Who doesn't know me? Everybody knows me. So if it is about myself, I wouldn't have wasted my time and effort and money to go and do that, because everybody knows me. So what would have been new was for me to go and tell them, I'm coming to do this and these are the reasons I will be doing it. But did you hear me say anything about that? I rather advise party members that there is this challenge, there is that challenge, you are not getting this one because of this, so exercise patience, let's do this way. It is not possible for everybody to get appointment. It's not everybody to get recruitment into the security services and all that. And I'm happy that they listened to me. And again, during the elections, you saw me campaigning specifically to get MPs elected. And I went to the grassroots, zonal centers, I never went to district centers or regional centers. I went to the villages and asked them to vote for us and promised them that after the voting, I'll come and thank them. And so if you listen to the people who were testifying, we're very happy that you have this politician who promised to come and thank us after the voting. We voted for him, and today he's here to thank us. Didn't you hear that everywhere we went? The chiefs, opinion leaders, assemblymen, they were all happy that NDC is a trustworthy party. When they promise something, they deliver. And that's all about this campaign.
I mean, there were some who said what you just talked about is the president's responsibility and not yours. In fact, some said you were even competing with the president. There's a famous case on May 22nd, 2026, when the president, in the northern region, where Haruna Iddrisu said, quote, "I recall when the president came for this thank you tour, note not the other thank you tour, a proper thank you tour of President Mahama as presidential flag bearer. What cannot be said, we can say it. A proper thank you tour, not the curtain raiser thank you tour." And many thought he was referring to yours.
I don't know about that, but even if he was referring to me, it means he got everything wrong on that occasion. And if as a party chairman, if one of your MPs gets something wrong, you then just get out there fighting and chanting and insulting back and so on. No.
But do you hear this?
I heard it, but I wasn't worried at all. Maybe his opinion was coinciding with those who thought that I was going around to campaign, and those who thought that it is what I was doing was no proper thank you to. You go and thank the people you campaign with, okay? The president campaigned in regional capitals and constituency capitals. I never campaigned in regional capitals and constituency capitals. So the area where the president went for his thank you tour will necessarily be different from where I will go for my thank you tour. So if somebody thinks that one is proper and one is improper, I mean, maybe he's not abreast with the facts. That's all.
Did you at least try to explain to him? I mean,
no, it wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary.
You were misunderstood.
Yes.
Basically.
And so, I'm always misunderstood, so it is not a new thing for me.
But that can damage a brand. I mean, because for it to be pictured to say you are competing with the president, that can damage a brand.
How can it damage?
That is, if you leave that perception to settle.
After that one, did you have the feeling that I have been damaged in any way? So why, if I know that you pass a comment and it will not affect me in any way, why do I have always said that your opinion about me having done something wrong, not criminality. If you share a different opinion about how I'm doing certain things, you are free to express it. If you think that what I'm saying doesn't make sense, you are free to express it. I will not be annoyed with you. It is only where you accuse me of criminality that I will respond. But otherwise, I mean, if I make a statement and, General Mosquito has made a stupid statement, it's your opinion. So the fact that you have said it doesn't mean that that is what it is. I'm worried about majority, the view of the majority about what I'm doing, and not individuals who may be disagreeing with me.
I could link to that is the question that I always ask you, and I must ask again because of everything that's happened since last June when we spoke. I think all this was happening is because of the perception that somehow Asiedu Nketia is harboring a presidential ambition. Do you want to be president?
Ambition is a very, very useful thing in politics. If you are a politician and you have no ambition is a very, very useful thing in politics. If you are a politician and you have no ambition, you are in the wrong profession. You understand? How you exercise that ambition is a challenge. And I have told you how I exercise my ambition. I don't go out there declaring my ambition at any time. I declare it when the time is up for me to declare it.
So when the time is up, you declare one of the presidents?
Because how do you hide pregnancy? If you hide your intention to contest for a position, how do you campaign? So if I intend to contest for a position, when the time comes, I'll let everybody know about it. You see, everyone to me, when he was in court, he was still campaigning that he wanted to be the national chairman of the party. And I'm so disappointed that he didn't get the opportunity to become the national chairman of the party.
So ambition is like pregnancy, you're saying. Eventually,
yes,
you give birth.
Yes.
So you're telling us we should just wait?
Yes, wait till the time. You know whether I have ambition or I don't have ambition.
Do you have ambition to be president?
Is the time up? That is the question I'm asking you. Wait till my time is up, and then I will let you know, because you cannot hide your ambition and expect people to vote for you for whatever position you want to go into. So when the time is up for people to declare their intentions to do A, B, or C, you will know. Sitting here, I can choose to become the next national organizer of NDC. There is no law that bars me. I can choose to become a general secretary again and contest with my brother, very good friend. I can decide to remain the national chairman, and I can decide to contest and go back to parliament. I can decide to be the presidential candidate. And so all these are options that are open. So don't worry about that one at all.
You know, listening to you, many was listening to you on the back of everything that's happened since June when we spoke, everything we talked about. You see, the fact that he's not being categorical means he has ambition to be president. He must have
There
ambition.
will be nothing wrong with that.
If you did.
You need to keep people guessing. Guessing is also part of the game.
Nketia says, keep guessing.
Keep guessing.
Keep guessing. But I note that you are not ruling it out.
No. I have never ruled any position out in my life.
Okay.
I'm not ruling any position out.
I mean, this obviously had come up again.
I don't know how much time we have, because you advertise.
Oh no, we're going to go there. I mean, when I have you, I have so many things to talk about. Okay. So we'll go into the other big things. We'll talk about the other things definitely. One final thing that you did, I think this year or last year, that when I watched it, I found this was fascinating, but it's also refreshing, because knowing you don't care, you speak the truth, you speak the facts, and you move on with your life. I believe you were in the northern region, and you gave us an insight into one of the biggest decisions political watcher have observed, which is the decision
the reshuffle.
The reshuffle. That never happened in our political history when a party is in opposition and did that. But you explained that, the background to what the decision was. And many watched you. I watched you thinking, okay, I understand you now, but the individuals involved may not have taken lightly to hearing you speak like that the way you did. Do you regret?
It doesn't change the truth, whether some people accept it or not accept it. The truth remains the truth. And as I've said, what do you call it? Rules described by whatever adjectives will still smell sweet. So me, I always want to stay on the side of truth. Once I say something and it is true, whether you accept it or not accept it, that is it. I'm okay with that. I sleep and sleep well.
But must you talk about it publicly? You know, people were hurt with that. So when you talk about
I don't think that anybody ought to be hurt. I didn't think that it was reasonable for anybody to be hurt. If you listen to my statement, it wasn't reasonable. And I believe that those who originally might have felt hurt when they listened to the full statement. They will realize that it was much ado about nothing.
It's Haruna and Muntaka still close buddies of yours?
Very close. We work together. In fact, that was the impression I sought to convey in Tamale when I said that those who are dividing and fighting among themselves here, they should stop doing that, because I'm cool with my junior brother Haruna and Muntaka, and we are moving together in Accra. That was the import of the statement.
So this was the response, yeah. What they responded, and I think it was a very, 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 very decent response. And I think some of the NPP, for no, they should learn from this man. In fact, NPP, NPP, and NDC, we are all Ghanaians, and this is what Shana say. Opponent no ba ko bi wo mo asabi o kasa the kasa no make sense wo kwan bi so a na wa peke arrogance emfa nipa nko bebia. You see, recently Chamarun to me before kodem na one yewura nkansa bodu ene or the saying the general secretary GFK sankrofo mi saying ye betiti omo ho nsam bebre. The NDC for their fighting on but once you see respond, you might think that there is nothing going on between them, but they are fighting internally. They are fighting internally. Now let's delve into Asiedu Nketia responding to those people who are claiming John Dramani Mahama should go for third term. And in fact, Asiedu Nketia say, oh no, will feel very, 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 very offended the moment your betis and Kuffour here Mahama should go for 10 waters. So how do we time or JJ Rollins Friso and Kuffour shall say ya almost shall say ya or party until JJ Rollins could just simply near apostle was real cast one could be Nemum send a vice a castle or best supporting. Well, we know some make statement clear says then time of Kuffour Fra Kunyasono. Se Kuffour ka say because na Kuffour is popular. Se Kuffour ka say so obe ko biemu a anka atamos anka wonya. Now watch this video.
Another big matter that has happened recently. There are 3 cases now before the Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to interpret an article in the Constitution that may give an opportunity to John Mahama to go for a third term. 3 of them. If it was one, you would dismiss it, but there are 3 cases before them. The lawyers who know some of the lawyers behind the cases, you can't dismiss the quality of the lawyers behind them. There are a lot of senior members of your party who have publicly made their position on this matter very, very clear. Very recently, a very good friend of yours, the Deputy General Secretary, was on there and was asked a question when the president said, well, listen, I have read that provision several times and for him it's clear, but it's up to the Supreme Court. Mr. Ogbande said to us, the president didn't make himself, the party made him, quote, so the party is not going to allow him to say he can't run if indeed the Supreme Court goes ahead to say that. Where do you stand as chairman of the party on this subject?
I didn't hear that. The party is not going to allow him to say he can't.
So the party is not going to allow him to say he can't. Because the president has said that.
So the party is going to demand specific performance from somebody who doesn't want to run. Is that what Mr. Fawaz?
Yeah, that's Mr. Ogbande's point that, the president.
I'm not sure the party has power to take any such position. Okay. Because if a position comes up for contest, the party doesn't push any candidate. The party simply opens nomination for people to contest. So if you choose to contest, it's your business. If you choose not to contest, it's your business. So I'm not sure the party has any capacity to compel anybody to run or not to run. Okay, so that's aside. But you see, I've always said that I have a problem with the way the debate about third term or not a third term is going. Okay. Because you don't focus on one individual in making a law. If you do that, you make a mistake. You see, the underlying principle is about whether the nation should remove term limits or to hold on to our constitutional term limits for presidents. It's not about President Mahama. So I get offended when people narrow it down to an extent that when anybody says he's for third term, oh, he likes John Mahama. When he's against third term, oh, he doesn't like John Mahama. We are being too simplistic. Why? Previously, we didn't have presidential term limits. This was introduced as a means of ensuring that we can institute power alternation in the country. Before this constitution, there had never been a peaceful transfer of power from one party to a party in opposition. True or false?
Yeah.
And so at the consultative assembly, we sat down and tried to find out what it is that we can introduce that will help us to alternate power the way the mature democracies have been alternating power. And one of the tools we settled on was presidential term limits. And that was the reason why, because as at the time President Rawlings was exiting, he was still about the most popular person in the country. If there were no term limits, President Rawlings wouldn't have exited at the time he exited. Arguably, the time President Kuffour was exiting, he was equally popular.
Very.
And if MPP had fielded President Kuffour against Atta Mills, the chances were that Kuffour would have won and remained. So, but because there was a constitutional term limit, it meant that we forced the first transition, we forced the second transition, we forced the third transition. And so the question that is facing the nation is that, our democracy matured enough now that if we remove these guardrails, will the whole thing collapse, or we can still, we have matured to a point that we can still, our democracy can still move on. So it is a bigger subject for discussion, bigger than whether President Mahama or no President Mahama, third term or fourth term or anything. And if we are going to think about removing the term limits, how different are people going to see us from the people of Guinea, who had a president who just removed the term limits and rigged the election, remain in power only to be booted out by the military? Are we going to face that risk? So I see where we are, like, what do you call it? You know, before you erect concrete beams or concrete floor, you do some woodwork and then pour the concrete on it like liquid. It has to set and get hardened before you remove the woodwork.
Yeah.
So if you remove the woodwork prematurely, the whole thing collapses. If the woodwork remains there, and even without removing it, you build on it, there will be a time the woodwork will rot away and the concrete will remain. So if you are not careful, you go to remove the woodwork and the whole building collapses. We are back to the pre-1992 situation. Okay, so the discussion should be weightier than whether President Mahama or no President Mahama for third term. Again, how are you going to say that President Mahama you are going to compel President Mahama to do a third term when he has declared that he doesn't want to do it. And I was talking about some prophecy by somebody who was just saying that, if Asiedu Nketia decides to contest, he will win by 54%. But his only risk is that if he involves himself in the debate about President Mahama's third term, then he will risk the anger of President Mahama, who will then go and support another person to defeat him. Then I said, wow.
And this was said in the church?
Yes.
Yep.
When I heard it, I said, well, I don't know so much about prophecies and how they come about, but at least I can ask questions.
What were your questions?
Number one, I haven't declared to anybody that I'm contesting in the election. So the spirit must be very smart.
God knows the future,
to know what I am about to do, know the results, and then on what basis is the spirit going to determine that all the 34 million people can engage in a debate about third term or no third term, but only Asiedu Nketia cannot talk about third term or no third term? Then again, President Mahama has come out to declare openly more than several times that he's not interested in third term. So if any spirit is saying that if I participate in that debate, he will be annoyed with me, it means that I'm offending him if I join his publicly declared position that he's not contesting. If I join it, he will be annoyed with me. What are you implying? Are you implying that President Mahama has a secret, private position which he is pushing, and then pushing a different narrative publicly, such that if you join the public one, then he will be annoyed with you and then use the secret.
There are some who believe that what he said was public, but privately he may be.
No, President Mahama is not Dr. Bawumia. I said it here, that the key difference between President Mahama and Dr. Bawumia is that President Mahama is credible. When he says yes, he means yes. When he says no, he means no. So for anybody to suggest that President Mahama is saying something publicly yes and doing something underground no, is trying to project President Mahama as somebody who is not trustworthy, who is out to deceive Ghanaians. And I don't think he deserves to be treated like that. You understand? So I believe that it could be an orchestration from somewhere.
Where?
Because we've been there before. I don't know how old you were when President Rawlings was approaching 2000.
I covered that election, so.
The whole, very well. You remember the whole country was say, Akuntabesi farm.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
Because of that Akuntabesi farm, they put President Rawlings so much under pressure that whenever he sought to imply that he will hand over to anybody who people didn't believe.
Yeah.
And they were saying that no, this soldier man, he won't hand over. Even if he loses, he won't hand over. So the campaign deviated from policy to whether he will hand over or not hand over. So he was forced to declare in Asiedu that if his vice president is contesting, he will support him, just to settle the debate that he will not contest. Then that turned into a different thing.
Asiedu declaration. And
then they say Asiedu declaration.
Split the party.
So the spin then started. And there was an implosion in our party. And the party split and we lost the election.
You think something similar is happening now?
I think those who are pushing this type of narrative, they want to tempt President Mahama to make some declaration in order to convince people that he's not coming, which may end up, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So the same thing that President Rawlings was subjected to, they knew he was hugely popular and all that. President Mahama too is hugely popular now. So, and if you hear the narrative of MPP now, they are not discussing policy. They are trying to use this third term as a tool for mobilization of their base. So every debate that they engage in, they add President Mahama's third term. He's jailing this, he's jailing that, because he wants to do a third term.
The third term, no, they are some about. Bia, muhunu echiri hono. Me ma shopete tekreme mu sa third term. This man, and in fact, this man was very smart to extend his own or kasa in favor of John Dramani Mahama to stop him, or that mentality to go for third term that people are calling him for third term or back for third term. Yes, me and say because I didn't court so one court third term. What be chaso our public say papa no so one ko be unti say wo hwe interview say wo grant ya ni interview bia wo making wo say Mahama mi waka say one ko bi adana mo so person wo ko. And with this statement no, it is very clear or cut papa of some mentality say be say tribo won twaso no ye national chairman no ababonti abeka say Mahama so one ko bi enti mun dia say mo dey follow for no say Mahama person ko tete Mahama ono wonya ho bedi o say pato when na wo so gu nani mo won pe nti Asiedu Nketia say the people should get ready when the time comes will be declared to the people. Let's have a conversation here. Me Adiabakwa. Okay, I think he was right. Also one person will better than ambition if you actually amount for say because I say be generate be time no be cancer me atra no near dia. But the Mahama's term, this man ne bondu so no where. I want the mopa. Mo fanhyɛ no or say Mustafa Gbandi etimi ko grant interview no aka say na hwan na se Mahama no ye be man asɔre. Okay, we no national chairman no wakasa no mo man nko mo de mo mpiempie ne tiko na mo nya yodium so no nko asa akunwa say ye fi akunwa mo be ka tra Asiedu Nketia mo wotie o se ehye no ha no so what is a mo no a mo ye Mahama tete what is akasa no na ha no because se Kuffour free so ye tete mo ankata mo sama ebi anka Kuffour tira so tete mo ebi anka mo nkan dey sinka mo mabi enti lenders get this thing me ankasa John Dramani Mahama Ghana man peni ankasa me nji this obeko bi because already we be making stance clear say nya de obeko in fact okobi mu a me ni hweye but okobi mu a the people in the party, I mean the NDC party ankasa kuran, they wouldn't take it easy for omo mfa na easy emfa no omo mani nya na easy why me say ye won crofo bi party mu a omo very wicked to extend say ono wa disika be shechire ama ye tu because obe mu say we ni bre into ono ankasa mso ohun sante na won kono and two osen crofo bi yes sir, yes so for be easy anytime we be have a conversation bia no ya no obo asofo no di mo asofo na mo ho di o say o sa asofo no amoye e na Asiedu Nketia kwa wo be wini na mom se wo be wini no so wo be wini a da Mahama tetem wo yi na no mfrim anya sa Mahama de support be kwa akotai wo bi fufureti perception bi wo ho na sem ko mo bi koso suma se enti na say Mahama kura no wo ne darling boy. And you are very careful. Is that this part wrong? Omo election and Casamance because we're making it clear say by December no more by December of this year no more next 2027. I feel no more why. So let's wait and see. We are here and we wish to see what happens next. Of which we are not calling for conflict. No, we are here to see who is going to contest and who is going to win. What you say? We are here. What that my international area. As South African Media, thank you very much for choosing us, for joining us. Oba subscribe, like, na sign, share my phone mo chichi any bench. Yanko comment section. Na yanko cover have a conversation. Macro.